This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, guess what, motherfuckers? No Imran. He's sick and he has a frog in his throat, a hoarse voice, a scratchy throat, I don't know, blowjob throat, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to hit you with some news, Star Wars Clone Wars official trailer, talking about Justice League Dark, talking about the Peacock. We're going to talk about that shit. We're going to talk about a movie review that's been in the fucking making for a long time. We're going to review 1993 Hulk Hogan's Mr. Nanny. And then we're going to do some news from the nation and talk about what you guys want to talk about. This week's Jock and Nerd, Wednesday, January 22nd, 2020.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom, the Jock and Nerd podcast. Play it.
Check. Check one. All right. This is ruling fans out there. Let's give it up.
We jockin', we nerdin', we funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin', we spoiler alert. Oh yeah! We jockin', we nerdin', we funny, disturbing. Oh yeah! We jockin', we nerdin', we spoiler alert.
Hey, listener, this is the Jock from the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name's Anthony.
And my name's Rug Boy.
He's the Rug?
And he's the Jock. That doesn't even...
I don't know how that goes, but if you just have just tuned in, you're noticing that for the first time ever, Imran is here, but he's not going to speak.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Imran's dropped his balls.
Apparently, Imran's voice has gotten so deep, hoarse, that he is now refusing to speak. He is now a mute that is just going to produce the show in the background for at least this episode. Apparently, he caught the flu and caught bronchitis. The man's falling apart. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this what happens when you turn 57, Rugs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still here.
Yeah, you're here. You're not falling apart, and you're like stitched together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm barely holding on by a thread, but Imran, you know, he's everything proof. You know, he's got since I've known him, he's had afflictions, and he's never let him stop him from talking. This is the first time it's actually affected his main driving force, which is his big mouth. So, I don't know. Imran's here, though. We can beckon him right now.
We can beckon him.
So just say hi to the listeners, Imran.
Listen, I need to save my voice or I'm never going to get better. Right. Hi, listeners. I love you.
So he is here. This is the best thing for us because we're not just like recording without Imran. Imran's here.
Yeah.
He can't say anything. So that's super frustrating for him because he knows he can't talk, but we're going to talk.
Yeah.
And this is going to be fucking fun for me because... for once, I'm not going to get cut off by him.
Absolutely not. I will do my best not to pull my best Imran impression and cut you off. This is great. I love that Imran has to just be in the background and sit here for however long we want.
It's like you being on a date with someone's ex-girlfriend in front of them.
Yes. And they have to sit there and watch. Like they can't leave.
Yeah, watch me put my hands on your ex-girlfriend's tits.
Yeah.
And your current girlfriend's tits.
And it's not like Imran broke up with us. We broke up with Imran, so Imran has to sit there, and just watch us fondle his baby, this show. We're just motorboating this show all up in front of him, and he just has to sit there and whack off in the corner.
Yeah.
So anyways, we've got some news.
Our dick reference is already done, so we got to you taking care of that.
We did that. We've got some news.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Starting off here, according to Imran's notes, this is the best part. Imran had to write all these notes out to things that he wants to talk about, and he's not going to be able to talk about them. So this is great. Starting off, Star Wars: The Clone Wars official trailer came out on Disney Plus.
Did you see it?
I watched it right before the show because I realized right before the show that I had to host this thing.
Oh, can I watch it? Because I haven't watched it.
Yeah, let's Imran, why don't we press pause right here and let Rug Boy watch this trailer?
I didn't get a chance. I've been very busy today.
Go ahead.
Do you mind?
No, I don't mind at all because I have nothing to say about it.
Talking nerd.
Wow, I have a huge geek boner.
Geek boner.
So we both just watched this trailer. I'll start off by saying I have really no thoughts on this because I just don't care. But I know Ruggs is a big fan of Clone Wars.
Yeah,
you just saw the trailer.
The animated series. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Give me the full breakdown.
All right. So, you got the continuation of the story is right. Actually, this part of the story is right before Revenge of the Sith. So you can see it's an older, young Anakin. Right. You can see the pregnant Padme in this. You can see one of the clones, which his name is Rex. You can see him in there. You see Darth Maul, you see Ahsoka Tano, both young and the older version of her. And, so those are the main players. You got Obi-Wan in there, of course, which all of these characters from Clone Wars were great. And that show is great. If you've ever watched it, there's some, amazing lore. It's the best Star Wars stuff there is. In my opinion, it's better than every single thing except maybe the first trilogy. The first few seasons are a little rough, but then it hits its stride and then it starts to know what it is. And Ahsoka Tano it starts out as being this annoying character because she's this Padawan, and all of a sudden she becomes a pretty badass Jedi. And in this one, she's really this is more like her story of, I guess, coming to fruition. And, I'm fucking stoked about this. This looks great. This looks like it fills in a really cool part of the story. And, it's CG and it's, television animation CG. So there's really no limits. They could pretty much do everything. They don't have to worry about realism or whatever. So they could just pull anything off. So I'm fucking stoked about it. I love Clone Wars. We've already experienced Star Wars in the theater and been disappointed.
Absolutely.
So there's really nowhere to go but up. I mean, seriously, you have fucking Disney, the weight and the might of Disney pushing behind the Star Wars franchise, and they're delivering dog dick. And then this little thing that David Filoni, the guy who was behind Mandalorian, who has directed a couple of episodes of that, and kind of is charged with kind of being one of the consultants for Disney TV in general and Star Wars TV in general. He's probably involved in this as a producer or something in the least. So I'm fucking all down for this. Hopefully I'm not disappointed, but I'm optimistic about this just because I like the Clone Wars. I watched the Clone Wars thinking it was going to just be and I end up thinking it was actually probably the best Star Wars stuff that there is, just because it's so rich in the characters and storytelling and every character actually growing. No one's a Mary Sue. Everybody has weaknesses and fails and all that stuff. So it's a rich story and it's way more balanced than anything you can get in the theater.
There you go.
I'm psyched for it. I was psyched about Teen Titans too. Not Teen Titans. Not Titans.
Young Justice.
Young Justice, because I love that show. But when I watched the new season, I was like, So as long as it doesn't do that, this trailer though looks like it has everything going. I mean, it's got, it's going to be a showdown with Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul at the end of this, and it's going to be the double blades versus the staff blade double blades. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, this is the, I believe, 7th season.
Yeah.
It looks like it's coming out February 21st, 2020, which is about almost 6 years since the last Clone Wars. So, and it's now under Disney. So hopefully, it can maintain the quality that you've come to expect.
I don't know. That's a good point. Is Disney going to change the nature of this?
Also, and the break. I can't really figure out who's involved in this. I'm on the Wikipedia page and there's not much, so we'll see. We'll have to see. There's plenty more news, but before we get into that, join the Jock and Nerd Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. It's our awesome Facebook group where we interact with listeners. Really good content posted by all our listeners daily.
You can talk to us, too.
You can talk to us. There's good banter. It's an exclusive group for our listeners. Be sure to answer the questions, though, or otherwise John Bellotti, who's been on the show, will not let you in. He's got a strong fucking iron fist over the show, or over the Facebook group, so make sure you answer the goddamn questions. And if you want to contact us in any way, jockandnerd.com/contact. You can get in touch with us directly, and who knows, maybe we'll interact with you through the show or through the Facebook group.
Yeah, we read emails at the end of the show sometimes, or comments in our News from the Nation, so you can get on the show by doing that.
Absolutely. Imran loves to read people's thoughts, whether they be good, bad, or nonsensical. So anyways,
yeah.
Disney, there's some news from Disney. There's always news from Disney, but looks like Disney's officially dropping the Fox name from the studios. So it used to be 21st Century Fox Studios. It's going to be rebranded as 20th Century Studios. And Fox Searchlight is now just going to be called Searchlight Pictures.
Wow.
Not a ton of, it doesn't seem all that surprising to me, but it is going to be a little
Isn't it
jarring.
Weird? You're going to go sit down and you're going to see that Fox logo with the spotlights, and it's not going to have Fox in the thing. You think they're going to recreate that same animation without the word Fox in there?
It's also weird that they're going with 20th Century Studios, where we are in the 21st century. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, so we're behind a century.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Marvel TV has now been rebranded as Marvel Studios TV, I believe. Imran, is that correct? Did you read this article? No? All right, fuck you. Yeah, so this is Marvel Studios TV, and now President Kevin Feige's in charge. Nothing new there. It looks like the big takeaway, though, from this is Jeff Loeb has been, he's no longer involved in all this stuff. So there's an article here about 10 major mistakes made by Marvel Television during Jeff Loeb's reign. Ruggs, did you have a chance to look at this article at all?
No, but why was it considered disastrous? There was Inhumans. I thought that was
That's one of the things on this list.
Yeah, but I think that was forced by another studio guy, wasn't it?
Well, it was from a lot of stuff. It was Ike Perlmutter was very obsessed with making the Inhumans a big thing, especially when Fox took away the X-Men.
It was like a dick measuring contest.
Yeah, they wanted to scale back the X-Men and make the Inhumans basically the new X-Men, and that it just failed right off the bat.
Yeah, nobody wanted that.
Yeah, so according to this article, Loeb's reign will be remembered not too fondly. I'll just go over briefly some of the things in this article, which some of them I agree with. The first thing off the bat is it seemed like he was never embracing the costumes, according to the Netflix, especially the Netflix stuff. Never really,
right? He
never
scaled
really got
everything
that
down.
Yeah, that seemed like a bygone thing from like X-Men 2000. So there's that. Inhumans is mentioned. Iron Fist is mentioned. That is bad. That was a bad show.
Right.
Ironically, he decided to have the same showrunner for Iron Fist and Inhumans, which is not good.
Yeah, that's not a good. Must have been fuck up right there.
Another one, we've harped on this, too many episodes in the Netflix stuff. Agent Coulson's resurrection. Did you think that was a bad thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I liked him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I just thought it kind of made the whole avenging thing for the Avengers. The whole point of the Avengers is null.
Right.
You can bring people back from the dead. Like, that's such a crazy thing to be able to do. Like, that should be in every Marvel movie.
Yeah, it is. I found that strange, too. The article does mention that this might have been the Whedons or Feige. That's not exactly known who decided to bring back Coulson. But the big thing, too, is they brought back Coulson, but then he never really interacted with the Avengers moving forward. So it was kind of like, if you brought someone back, wouldn't he want to eventually get to the Avengers? I don't know. None of it made sense.
Yeah.
A general lack of understanding of these characters. They point to the Punisher's origin story being a conspiracy theory, Hellcat, just a lot of rewritings of these characters, Elektra, that weren't necessarily in line with the comics, although the movies take liberties with that stuff too.
Yeah, Marvel does that all the time, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's
not grasping at straws.
His failure, whatever it may be, to ever get Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige to come on board and interact with the television. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't know. They just, for some reason, did not gel together, these two. They did not play well. They did not want to work together. I don't know what happened, man, with Loeb and Feige.
I don't know. I don't know if they didn't get along or if it was just because Loeb was associated with Perlmutter and Feige hated Perlmutter. I don't know.
Do you think that maybe the Loeb was trying to angle to get where Feige was, but I don't know.
I would assume Loeb was probably maybe not, outright angling, but definitely was trying to prove himself as an equal sort of level as Feige, that maybe if Feige ever wanted to move on to something Star Wars.
Well, if you think of yourself in the company, right?
Yeah.
You're the fucking head honcho behind Marvel and all the Marvel thing. And then there's another dude who's on another division, another wing separate from you that is trying to carve his own path and define these things. So yeah, it is like a weird rivalry. And
he's like taking some of the characters that you would want to maybe put your spin on, and he's doing it first in the TV shows. It is. I guess that would definitely create some tension.
Yeah, it's probably not a good working environment to have stuff that other people want. Now you can't use it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
There's no synergy there.
There's a couple other ones. I'm going to skip over a few of these, but the other one I see is an inability to create new shows. So this lists a bunch of pilots that he had plans for that never got off the ground, such as Daughters of the Dragon, The Mockingbird Show with her ex-husband, A New Warriors failed pilot, Ghost Rider, all these shows that were planned and all kind of fell apart.
Yeah, he didn't have the juice.
Did you like... What are some good things? Did you think Loeb was terrible? Awful?
I mean, Daredevil was good.
Daredevil's good.
All right, and The Punisher was good.
Punisher, first season of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, so there was some good stuff in there.
Cloak and Dagger, I thought was good from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, it's good. And I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a couple of... I was all in on S.H.I.E.L.D. for, like, even the most ridiculous shit until, like, it just went on too long.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, okay, I've seen all of the best Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has to offer. I don't need to watch it anymore. That's what one of those things, like when I feel like I've read the best era of comics and I know that we're doing is rehashes now, or we're just doing like the greatest hits, or they're grasping at things to do, that are like all over the place, that I check out, because that's when it's gone on too long and they don't know that like they have to end it and they have to like, so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was good at one point, but it just, like Walking Dead just went on too long.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, you guys definitely mentioned that it kind of found its way eventually, found its niche, but I think the thing that held it back is just it never was connecting with the main stuff, and that was the whole premise at the beginning: is this is Marvel, and it all's connected, and then it doesn't connect. So
I think when they killed off that first major bad guy that flipped from, I forgot what his name was.
Oh, the dude that was in the in Terminator.
Oh,
I was talking about that act. What's the fucking actor's name?
He was the guy that
it's over, man. Game over.
Well, no, that was a little bit later. I think.
Oh, that was later. Okay.
Maybe he had something to do with it, but it was like he was a part of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then he flipped and he was the bad guy, and he was like a demon or something.
Yeah.
And then after that, everything else kind of like, okay, that was a cool story because he flipped and it was like, there's a lot of turmoil there. And then everything else just kind of, after that, it was like, yeah, all right, I've seen the best of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't need to watch this anymore.
Yeah, I think I quit after season 3. I couldn't hold my interest anymore.
Yeah.
Moving on. Apparently, Justice League Dark, a film and TV projects are in the work from WB. Are you a fan of the Justice League Dark there, Ruggs?
I don't even know what it is.
It's this weird... It's pretty recent.
Isn't everything Justice League Dark? Suicide Squad is Justice League Dark?
Sort of. It's like Suicide Squad with more magic.
Oh, yeah. It's like John Constantine, Zatanna.
Yep, Deadman, Etrigan, Swamp Thing. They just take all their dark characters and throw them in a Justice League thing.
So they're actually heroes, not villains.
Correct. They're heroes and villains, but they're all together.
They're just, they're just kind of more on the mystical side of it.
Right. Is this something you'd be interested in?
It depends on the tone. Okay. It really does. If it's, Constantine was a decent show. Wasn't great, but it was decent. It was still trying to figure out what it is. And I hate that when a show is trying to figure out what it is during you're watching it.
That's rough.
It's like they should have that figured out before the show was on. But, yeah, it was kind of finding itself, and I was trying to stick with it because I like the guy who played Constantine. But the tone wasn't right. That's what they didn't get yet. And I think that Swamp Thing had a pretty good tone, but then that got canceled. So it depends, and it depends on the tone. If it's kind of like Doom Patrol, but like a little bit more action oriented, I don't know. These DC shows, like they're never quite right. Like Titans isn't right.
Right.
They're just not like clicking.
It doesn't seem like, from this article, according to Deadline, they're planning movies and TV shows around this. So I don't really know if they know what they're going to do yet. If they think this is made for television, or if this is the type of thing that they can draw a lot of money with.
Like they should do like a mini movie, basic, like or like a mini trilogy. Like I just watched Dracula. Not that it's good, because it's not. I watched Dracula on Netflix, right? And they're each an hour and a half long movies. But they're an hour and a half long movies, but it's like one after the other, and then there's 3 of them, and the season's over. So you get like a little mini trilogy,
mm-hmm.
But it's a TV show. So it's like you can do Justice League Dark as a trilogy in those 3 shows, and then you can tell like a nice, close knit, like tight story in those 3, across those 3, and then that's it. And then if that works out, then you break it out. Let's break it out to maybe 6 episodes.
Right. Yeah, they should definitely, studios should be more apt to kind of testing things rather than just being like, let's just throw it all out there. Let's go with something small, see if the audience likes it, and then build upon that.
Something that's small and concise that is targeted, because I feel like when they start out and they're like meandering around trying to figure it out as they go, like this audience is not going to stick with you through that shit.
Right.
Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're missing the bit.
I win the bet.
What was it, 20 minutes?
I didn't beckon you, Imran.
Oh, you're missing the big part of the story is that they want J.J. Abrams to do this. I think it's the wrong pick for Justice League Dark.
Probably.
J.J. Abrams. Yeah, I guess I did miss that. That is strange.
Well, it said Bad Robot, right?
Yeah.
So you think J.J. Abrams is going to be hands on it?
I don't know. I just don't
so.
see this being J.J. Abrams' forte at all.
Yeah, I don't really think it's going to. I think it's his production company's going to do it. I don't think he's going to really stick around, stick his nose in this thing.
Imran, stay in that goddamn corner. What the hell are you doing talking?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I told you he couldn't do it.
He could not stop himself. Moving on. The Peacock Network. The Peacock Network. Say that a few times. NBC Universal's new streaming platform. Wow, I can't speak. They announced some details regarding this thing. This platform will feature movies from Universal Pictures, Focus Features, DreamWorks Animation, and Illumination, along with TV shows that have been relocated from other streaming services. There's going to be a couple pricing tiers. If you're a Comcast cable subscriber, I believe you get it free. But they have 3 pricing tiers. They're going to have a Peacock free, which will be free, and have limited programming and contain ads. There's a second option, which is full Peacock content lineup, which is free for Comcast cable subscribers and costs $4.99 for everyone else. And then finally, there's the Peacock Premium. That's not what it's called. It's just Peacock Premium.
They should just call it the Cock.
They should.
Are you watching the Cock? I'm watching the Cock. Look, tonight on the Cock.
Absolutely. That's the price for that's $9.99 a month. Same content library, but without any ads. So, and Comcast cable customers can get Peacock Premium for only $4.99 a month. So there's 3 pricing tiers. Apparently, it will launch for Comcast cable customers with the X1 or Flex package on April 15th. Before launching nationwide on July 15th. They're really banking, it looks like, on some positive word of mouth before the nationwide launch. And they've got some original content coming out. Not a lot of this really stands out to me. There's a Kevin Hart thing coming out. Yeah, none of this really stands out. Saved by the Bell reboot. They've got that.
Okay.
Skipping all that, here's some of the main things that'll be the framework for this fucking thing. 30 Rock, Saturday Night Live will be on here, Back to the Future, American Pie, Battlestar Galactica, Casino will be on here, Despicable Me, E.T., Everybody Loves Raymond, Frasier, Friday Night Lights, Jaws, Jurassic Park, House, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is on here, Meet the Parents, Parks and Rec, Psych, Shrek, the Bourne franchise, Fast and Furious, Real Housewives, Will and Grace, Top Chef. Ruggs, is this something you're going to invest in?
I just want to get it because I want to get the cock. I want to say I have the cock.
Absolutely. That's probably the only reason, right?
But no, I mean, like, NBC Universal is a big company.
Big brand, yes.
They don't really have... See, they have old stuff. They have, like Disney Plus has old stuff, but they have The Mandalorian, and they have this, that's a big concept flagship show. They're going to drop this new Star Wars, Clone Wars TV show and a bunch of other shit soon.
Mm-hmm.
So NBC has got to really fluff this up a little bit with some, like, snazzy new shit.
So I just counted. There's about 25 new original programming things that they're going to launch.
But does anything stand out? Like it's going to be like the next Mandalorian?
Well, I've got here Saved by the Bell reboot. I mentioned that. They got Who Wrote That, which is a docu-series about Saturday Night Live writers. Might be kind of interesting. Real Housewives spinoff. That's for your reality TV show people. A Battlestar Galactica reboot.
That might be cool.
Yeah. And the Amber Ruffin Show, a weekly late-night comedy show hosted by a writer for Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Give a shit.
Yeah. Not really.
So, like, Battlestar Galactica is something that I love.
Yeah.
And them rebooting it could be interesting, but, I mean, it's got big shoes to fill right there.
Yeah, there's some other stuff. A lot of this is, a lot of its original programming are based off of one or two actors that are somewhat popular. A Jada Pinkett Smith show called Straight Talk is coming out. So we'll see. I mean, another streaming service added to a very, very crowded market.
I still think that when HBO Max comes out, that's going to be the one.
That's the one?
Yeah. That's
HBO
the one.
Max looks good.
And I think there's still a possibility that CBS Paramount might do something.
Well, they have the, what is it, CBS All Access. I don't think it's all that popular.
Yeah, but
they need to rejig that to something
they have
bigger.
like they're with Viacom, I believe, right?
Yeah, Viacom, yeah.
So that's all the MTV shows, all of that shit, all those music channels, all of that stuff that they have. That's also could be a player. I don't know. There's all the streaming shit. Seems like it's a lot of stuff, and I don't really watch a lot of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I have Disney Plus, I have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu,
DC.
We have DC. Yeah, we have more than a few things, and I have ESPN Plus, and I can't really say I watch all that much streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I do use Netflix is the most I use, and then Amazon Prime is the next, and then Disney when something new comes out is something I go to. So that's it. Like, those are the three major ones that I'm using right now. And Amazon's mostly for movies, and they have a couple of shows I like, but I think Netflix is the biggest player and still going to continue to be that way unless HBO Max comes out and fucking blows the doors off of everything.
One of the confusing things I noticed just reading this is it's getting to the point now where if you want to watch a specific movie, you don't really know what streaming it's on. I'm sure you could just Google it. But it is kind of like, wait, do I have this? Do I not? How do I watch this movie? It's not all consolidated like it was with when Netflix was, it was Netflix and Hulu just dominating the landscape. So it is going to create a little bit of confusion if you want to watch E.T. and you're like, oh, I don't have the peacock. I don't have the cock. I'm going to need to get that cock up in here. Up in me. Wow. Up in here. So, yeah. I think it'll create some confusion. Can you rent the cock? Well, you can get it
instead of like you could just get it for a month.
Well, you can get it for free for a little bit, and then if you're kind of tired, and then if you're really satisfied, then you jump up. All right, we're going to move on.
Okay, we're saying cock too many times.
Yeah, well, it's part of this. It's in the name of the streaming service. HBO's Watchmen second season is not happening after. The creator exits.
I think Lindelof made the right call here.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this a lot, but I think Lindelof has also made the right call here. I think it's one of those things when you create something awesome, or if you've done something awesome, a lot of people have trouble walking away from that awesome thing that they made, as evidenced by every single TV show almost. So I think this is a smart move on Lindelof's part, and hopefully HBO isn't desperate enough to try to lure him back or create it without him or do something without him.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to want to do it because it's just got so much critical acclaim, but they should just stop here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think let it rest. You caught lightning in a bottle with this thing. I'm not sure you can do that again.
Yeah, where do you go?
I mean, the only
they painted themselves in a corner.
I don't think you can continue that storyline. You'd have to go in another route about different characters that were ancillary to what was happening in Watchmen again.
Right.
And again, that lightning in a bottle, I don't know if you can do that. So
yeah.
One of the last things here, did you watch the new Doolittle, Ruggs?
No. That's a movie that nobody wanted to be made.
So
it's like another Gulliver's Travels. Do you want that? No. Like, no one wants that, but they're going to make it. You know someone's making that stupid thing like that no one wants to watch.
So this movie came in second place, only made $30.6 million domestically here in its opening weekend.
That's more than I thought it would make, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it added another 20, so it's at 50, but the problem is this movie had a production budget of $175 million.
Oh, shit.
Universal, for whatever reason, decided that throwing Robert Downey Jr. in a Dr. Dolittle remake equaled cash.
It's making Godzilla money. Yeah. That's pretty much the same lines of what Godzilla made when it opened up, right? It's like made $40 million the first weekend.
I think Godzilla did better. Let me just Google that real quick. But, I mean, is there anything? I mean, they must have really just been banking on the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is just the biggest star in the world, but I don't. As you mentioned,
trends, right? There's trends here, right? There's the fact that it's a kids movie,
right?
It's got talking animals, and the kids seem to like. They went to see The Lion King and shit like that. So, it seems to be a trend. The talking animals having fun, and everybody likes that. But I think that's all that went there. Like maybe some families went to go see it, but it wasn't enough to like.
Well, apparently it's gotten horrible reviews too.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that Downey was putting his all into this movie, or was he just like slumming it just to like get that money?
He was on the Joe Rogan podcast this past week. I think he was promoting this movie, and he had talked about. I listened to a little bit of that podcast, and he had talked about how he read the script, and he was just like, "Yeah, I need to do something like this. Like this is completely different than anyone would expect me to do. I'm going to do it."
So he was into it.
Apparently, or maybe he just got written a big check. I have no idea. I don't know. I just don't understand. The last Dr. Dolittle was also a box office bomb. They made like some sequels to it, but the Eddie Murphy movie was not. It's not. I don't know if it's necessarily beloved. And the Eddie Murphy movie was, I believe, a remake of some children's stories.
See, like, I would like to see Dr. Dolittle in it. If imagine you made a serious Dr. Dolittle movie. Where, like, he could actually, maybe he was, like, psychically connected to animals and he could like, feel what they were thinking.
So, like, Land Aquaman?
Yeah, so it would be, like, more like almost like a Jesus type thing where, like, he could do something that is superhuman and not silly where, like, he's talking to animals and they're talking to him. That makes it funny. And then, like, I know it's a kid's movie. It's supposed to be, like, but, like, all right, but is that really fun for kids now to talk to animals?
I have no idea. I don't know what the thought process was on this. It does have to open up in I think 20 markets across the world, so it still could make some money back. But it's according to the Wrap, it's projected to lose $100 million for Universal.
Oh shit!
On top of the fact that last month they released Cats, which is expected to lose another $70 million. So.
Yeah, shitter.
This is a tough 2 months here with Cats and Doolittle for Universal.
We should just make a list of movies that nobody ever wants to see that they make anyway, because they do it every year. I think it might be like, how do they not know? These guys are supposed to know shit, right? They work in Hollywood, the epicenter of movies. don't they know that, like, no one wants to, like, there's no, like, they have focus groups. They have everything. They have fucking everything at their disposal to know, like, they fucking bought an algorithm to figure out what people want. And they're making movies that nobody wants to see. Meanwhile, there's tons of shit that things people want to see and then they never make them.
Yeah, I don't understand the logic on remaking Dr. Dolittle. Even with Robert Downey Jr., as you mentioned, no one was asking for that.
Like, if Dr. Dolittle was a huge smash hit, and we're like, yeah, it's been like 20 years since you had a Dr. Dolittle, then okay. Like, Planet of the Apes, when it came out, it was like a fucking thing. Like, people still talk about that movie, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to want to go back to the well and fucking drudge that shit up and make another movie. But Dr. Dolittle? Like, that wasn't part of anyone's, like, Home Alone? Okay, I get it. What? Right. But, like, yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, Dr. Dolittle, 17% on the tomato meter. But according to Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score is 75%. So who the fuck knows? A 4.04 average critic rating out of 10.
75 is not terrible.
Yeah. People are easily pleased. I don't know. Not enough people went to go see it to make money. Well, at this point, we're going to take a break. We're going to play some awesome promos, and we'll be right back with more of the show.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Crisis for the geek kind. Top geek officials admit they underestimated the hipsters' defense capability. Join the geek revolution and save the galaxy. Geeks from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future. They're doing their part. Are you? Want to know more? Join Weeby Geeks and the Geek Revolution and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship. Listen to Weeby Geeks podcast on iTunes and Stitcher or online at WeebyGeeks.net. Weeby Geeks, your voice for the Geek Revolution. Want to know more?
Hey guys, this is Venice, and I've got a message from a friend of mine about my favorite podcast.
It's your boy, Flavor Flav in full effect. Check this out, everybody. I want y'all to go check out TJ.
What's good, everybody? TJ Johnson here from Voice from the Underground. I am the most handsome.
Big Hass.
And I'm smoking my cigar, of course.
You know what I'm saying? The Dutch.
You pick me up in an Uber and a PT Cruiser, I'm calling Lyft.
Cause they be fighting the power, talking about social issues, politics, you know what I'm saying?
And we're not even that good. Right, we're terrible. Terrible. Tangents all over the place.
And not only that, but they be keeping it fun with the sports, music, comics, and movies too.
Am I allowed to talk?
I think, no, not right now.
Shut up, colonizer!
You know what I'm saying? He on Twitter at VFU Podcast. So you can find them. So check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav. Yeah, boy.
Okay, what Flav was trying to say is, check out Voice from the Underground on your favorite podcast network.
Voice from the Underground.
Doc and Nerd. Hey, listener, we are back. Or if you decided to fast forward through all those commercials, then hey, I'm Anthony. How's it going? Wanted to start off by plugging our fan club, the Jock and Nerd fan club. It's patreon.com/Jock and Nerd for as low as $3 a month now, or is it $1? Who the fuck knows? Give us some money. You get some bonus content, Jock Talk, early access to Jock and Nerd, and the spin-off show. Quick tease for the spin-off show. Me and Imran, together but not in the same room, are going to be naked in water with salt all around us.
Whoa!
Yeah, and then we're going to record our thoughts afterwards.
Why are you guys doing this?
I don't know. I don't know, but we're doing it.
You just want to be naked and salt together?
We want to be naked. We're going to do these have you heard of the float tanks, Ruggs?
For sensory deprivation?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to do this, and you're going to try and feel something.
We're going to try to unlock a place in our mind that we've never been before.
And Imran's been there.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely been everywhere.
I don't know if he's
dimension. He's back.
Or hopefully we can get him in the newest, latest dimension of salt water, sensory deprivation, nakedness, vitiligo.
Oh.
So that's what we're
I feel
doing.
like he's going to tap into his lizard brain.
Maybe. I can't wait to see what happens. Again, we won't be in the same room, but we will be doing it at the same time. And we'll see what happens.
I feel like that if I did that, I would bug out. I would want out of that tank immediately.
Apparently, there's like so I called the guy, and he's like, "Don't even bring your own swim trunks." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "You don't want anything on you that's going to be familiar to you. You don't want to see anything that's going to be something you would recognize." I'm like, what the fuck? All right, whatever, dude. I won't bring my own swim trunks. So that's happening, and we'll
bring
record
Imran swim trunks. Those are the strangest things you could have on.
His would be a dress on me. Yeah. So yeah, that's a quick tease for the spinoff show. If you join our fan club, jockandnerd or patreon.com/jockandnerd or jockandnerd.com/Patreon, I believe either works. Give us some money, you get early access to all that bonus content, instant reactions. But if you jump up to that $10 a month tier, you become a super awesome listener, and you get to pick a goddamn movie for us to review. And we've been doing these for a while. And thanks to Ralph Bravo, who's been a patron for 11 months, me and Ruggs are reviewing Mr. Nanny from 1993.
I mean, I'm pissed about this because Imran was supposed to review it with us.
I know.
But now he gets to sit back and watch us do it.
Yeah, he gets to sit here, listen to us, not have to give any more unnecessary brain power to this movie starring Hulk Hogan. Unbelievable. Imran, what are your thoughts on this? Oh, wait. You don't have a fucking voice, and you decided to sabotage yourself and not be a part of this. So, thank you, Imran. Hit that fucking spoiler alert button, though.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time!
Not that anyone cares that we're going to fucking spoil this movie, but we're going to spoil the shit out of this movie. So, as I mentioned, Mr. Nanny came out in 1993, starring Hulk Hogan, the pro wrestler, a wrestler that actually has a near and dear place to my heart, one of my favorite wrestlers growing up as a kid. Also a big racist. Directed by Michael Gottlieb. It stars Hulk Hogan, Sherman Hensley. The little girl actually became someone popular. What's her fucking name in this?
Madeline Zima.
Yeah, Madeline Zima. So that, and then they had the boy was in a lot of shit too. What's his fucking name? This IMDb is not in order. I don't know why they do it like this. But anyways, let me look this up real quick.
He's got a unique name, I believe.
He was in a lot of different things as a kid.
Well, Madeline Zima was on Californication, where she was this girl who fucks David Duchovny, and she's topless in it. And so I thought it was very odd that I'm watching her as a child.
Oh, my God.
'Cause I never saw this movie when it came out. I just know Madeline Zima from being the hot chick that David Duchovny ends up banging, that ends up being the daughter of somebody that he's already dating. It's really weird shit.
That's very odd. I feel like that's a very odd viewing experience to watch.
It was. So
a little kid and then know that you've seen her tits.
Yeah, it is really strange. It made me look, I already went into this movie hating having to watch it. And then when I saw Madeline Zima was in it as a little cute girl, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to watch this. I can't. Like, I feel weird. So it's like, I just fucking, I like was in agony the whole time I was watching this. I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this.
This is a little bit of a preview of thoughts there. So I found the names. Austin Pendleton is in this movie. The little boy, the little mischievous boy is Robert Gorman. And then, a few of the wrestlers in here, Alpha Onoi, Brutus Beefcake, George the Animal Steel, Jim the Anvil Neidhart's in this, and then Kamala. All wrestlers actually that I recognize because I was a big pro wrestling fan back when I was a little boy. So this was kind of a trip watching this fucking movie. As far as Rotten Tomatoes, let's figure out what the Rotten Tomatoes score on this before we get into our thoughts. I believe this was a 7% movie. Yes, it was a 7% movie on Rotten Tomatoes. Average critic rating of 2.45. The audience score was 33%. Let's see if this movie made any fucking money. Box Office Mojo. According to Box Office Mojo, this movie opened in theaters with a $1.85 million opening. Total, it made $4.34 million. And worldwide, it made $4.348 million. So this was on a budget of $10 million.
It lost money.
It lost money. This was around the time that they were experimenting with Hulk Hogan being some sort of movie star, and I think this was this movie, and there was another movie that came out.
Suburban Commando?
Both of those movies basically solidified the fact that this man is not a movie star at all, even though he was wildly popular as a
I like
pro
the best
wrestler.
is Thunderlips.
Thunderlips is probably his best role.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, I will give you just a really, really brief synopsis, and then we can get into our thoughts. Basically, this movie is about a sort of a PTSD pro wrestler who has been retired and gets hired on as a bodyguard for this rich guy and his family, ends up inadvertently having to become the nanny of these mischievous children, and the dad is involved in some sort of secret that bad guys, including one with a metal dome, wants to steal because they're evil. And this bodyguard has to teach these kids some discipline and defeat the bad guys. Rug Boy, opening thoughts on Mr. Nanny.
Okay, so I was told I had to watch this movie.
Yes, you did.
So when we got The Command by Ralph Bravo, it was months ago. Like a long time ago. And I don't know if you realize this about me, is that I have a very short-term memory, especially if it's something I don't like. I immediately try and like purge it from my system. So I watched this movie thinking we were going to review it like months ago. And I don't think I could make it through the movie because, like, as I said, I was very like, Madeline Zima's a little girl in it. I see her boobs. This movie is so low budget. It's terrible. It's just bad. So I barely made it through that movie, and I was like, okay, let's review it. And then we never reviewed it.
No.
Because this is what happens all the time. We play movie chicken. Let's watch it, and then nobody watches it, and I ended up watching it.
Yes.
So then, now, it was so long, I had to watch it a second time!
Oh, shit.
So I had to watch this movie twice.
I'm sorry.
And I don't know if it made my experience of watching it better, but like, for some reason, I was like, maybe it's because it felt less nostalgic because I had seen it before. I was like, okay, I made it through the whole thing this time, and whatever, and I was able to watch it. But so this movie is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. It is a ripoff of Home Alone and Kindergarten Cop and all of these fucking 80s tropes. It's a B movie at best.
Oof. And
the bad guy is played by Buster Poindexter, and they call it what's his real name? Is something Johansson?
He's David Johansen. He's the guy most famous for singing the song "I'm Feeling Hot, Hot,
Yeah,
Hot."
so that's Buster Poindexter. That's his alter ego. If you don't know who David Johansen is, he was the lead singer for this punk band called the New York Dolls, and he was an ugly dude then. And he just seems like he's like a dude that looks like a Dick Tracy villain. All right, he's just not a handsome looking dude. He has that New York accent. He's so weird. So him being in this Florida movie, like this movie that takes place in like fucking Tampa,
probably.
Yeah, because that's where Hulk Hogan lives. He wasn't leaving his house. He was just gonna go around the block and film this movie. It just was weird.
Apparently, Johansson he did most of the music too, and you can hear him singing in the songs from a lot of this movie. And a lot of the movie, the songs he sings are basically telling you what's happening on screen, which is a very old a often used trope that really just is so lazy.
That's some 80s shit.
That is some 80s shit right there. Imran had this, and Rug Boy also said this. It is like a weird mix of Home Alone and Kindergarten Cop. This movie came out in a time when they were really trying to copy the success of Home Alone with these kids. This movie came out, Dennis the Menace, Problem Child, all really bad movies. This movie for me really made me appreciate just how good Home Alone it really is. Because Home Alone is actually rewatchable even as an adult. This is one of the worst goddamn movies I've ever seen. The most surprising thing is as Hulk Hogan was one of my favorite wrestlers as a kid, if not my favorite, he is awful in this movie. He cannot act at all. He has no charisma whatsoever. It's very jarring to see this man that I thought was super charismatic in the wrestling ring and with promos and all that. And in this movie, he is so fucking wooden. It is unbelievable.
I mean, the script is so bad. I mean,
The script is terrible.
I think that even he knew he was in a piece of shit. Like, once Buster Poindexter is your bad guy, and he comes in a full afro the movie, and then shoots you wearing a bad headpiece, like he's wearing Hulk Hogan has hair in a flashback. And that's probably the most hilarious thing I've seen.
They put a wig on Hulk Hogan
and Sherman Hemsley.
Absolutely.
So George Jefferson is okay. Let's do this. Let's try and talk about this movie.
Yeah,
all right,
as much as we can. Okay.
All right. So George Jefferson is Hulk Hogan's friend, and he runs the agency for some reason, the bodyguard agency, and he's trying to convince Hulk Hogan to do this job for him and and watch these rich guys' kids, but the whole time they keep cutting to Sherman Hemsley on the phone with him, and every time they go back to him on the phone, like something in his apartment is taken away because he's got no money and they're repossessing everything.
Yeah.
And he's beating a guy with his cane at one point who was trying to take away the phone that he's talking on. It just was fucking ridiculously bad. But I don't know. It just Sherman Hemsley's in this movie, and
it's jarring that Sherman Hemsley is in this movie too. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know.
What is he doing?
Yeah, what is he doing here? The thing is too is like this movie it is written very poorly. You have not one but two like stereotypical black characters that are just ragging on Hulk Hogan,
and they have to fall in love. Because they're in the room together.
Right.
They have to. They notice that they're both black. Why aren't we fucking?
Right. Well, and here's the thing: like this, like so, it's so contrived. So this movie, I mentioned Hulk Hogan has PTSD because in the past, David Johansen's character asked him to throw a match, and Sherman Hemsley and Hulk Hogan decided they weren't going to throw a match. Yet we all know that pro wrestling is fake.
Yeah.
So you're asking him to lose a match that is fake, and he refuses to lose the fake match, as if they're trying to sell you that wrestling is real.
What?
So you have that. So David Johansen is first this like crime mob boss, and then it ends up turning out that you find this out later in the movie, because the movie starts off with him being this evil guy with a metal head that wants to steal this chip that can basically knock off any missile that's fired in the air. So first he's a terrorist, but then it's written that he started out as a crime mob boss and was related to the bodyguard that happens to fall into this situation. It's so fucking contrived. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
He goes from like running a wrestling ring,
right,
to being like a guy like Dr. Doom.
Yes. he has a secret lair where he lures people into water to torture them, and then they come out and they're all like what is going on here? And this movie's also weirdly violent, and
the racism doesn't end with Sherman Hemsley.
No,
they have that like the obligatory karate guy who does really bad karate.
The Asian guy is automatically a karate guy, yeah. and he's just like whooping Hulk Hogan's ass throughout the entire movie.
They're fighting Hulk. Okay, the biggest fight in this whole movie happens where Hulk Hogan is wearing a tutu because he's taking ballet lessons from Madeline Zima.
Right.
And that's when they attack him. So sweaty Hulk Hogan in this tutu tries to fight off fake Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Fake Bruce Lee and some guy who looks like, I don't know, a terrorist, your typical terrorist from the 90s movies. And it's just fucking terrible. I mean, the thing is, there's like really bad, fake fighting in this movie.
Yep.
And then there's really bad Home Alone stunts where they make Hulk Hogan, like, they shock him, they throw a bowling ball at his face, they magnetize weights to make him, like, fucking drop weight on while he's working out.
It's super, like, so apparently, some background on this for anyone that hasn't seen it, which probably most of you haven't, these kids just have a really terrible relationship with anyone that tries to be their nanny because their mom died, so they're missing their mom, and they get bullied at school. So they take it out on their nanny, and their whole thing is to eliminate all these nannies, and they've gotten rid of hundreds of them.
Yeah,
so
one of the first scenes, when Hulk Hogan shows up at the mansion, there's literally a nanny with her hair on fire.
Yes.
Running out of the house, and then she jumps into the fountain in front of the house, and then just keeps running as her head is smoking.
Right.
The kids are fucking satanic.
The kids are awful. I mean, the boy played by Robert Gorman is apparently this genius kid that can invent all sorts of shit. And as Rugboy mentioned, they are going above and beyond. They are trying to kill Hulk Hogan. They're not trying to just dissuade him from being their nanny. They're dropping weight on his neck. They're, as Rugboy mentioned, they're putting him in an electric chair. It reminded me of the scene in not Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, when the guy gets electrocuted alive. They're like, oh, whatever, it's no big deal. And you could see them turn up this like cartoony electric voltage meter all the way up to like super high, and Hulk Hogan's just getting electrocuted. It's like, what is this movie? The movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It's this movie about delinquent kids, about this guy trying to get back into get over his PTSD. He's trying to then become a father figure to these kids and show them how their way through school. But then there's this evil plot. This movie is just all over the fucking place.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it at all, Anthony? Like, when you're watching this, what's going through your head? Like, tell me about, your state of being as a person when you're watching Mr. Nanny. Like, first of all, are you ashamed of yourself? What are you doing? I know that, I had to tell people I watch this movie. I'm like, I gotta watch this. I don't know. I just gotta fucking watch this movie.
Luckily, I didn't have to tell anyone that I was watching this. The movie starts out with the pro wrestling stuff, and immediately I'm like, oh, Hulk Hogan. I knew Hulk Hogan was in it, but I'm like, oh, this is a blast from the past. I might probably enjoy this movie. And then within minutes, I'm going, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck am I watching? There are moments where I have to admit, I did chuckle, and I was a little ashamed of myself that I chuckled. But overall, I literally was just going to myself, holy crap, that's really bad acting. Holy crap, that makes no sense. What the fuck am I watching on screen? What is with this tone? Where are we going with this? I don't know who they were trying to appeal to, but even if they're trying to appeal to kids, there's multiple, I think 2 or 3 points in this movie where kids get slapped. the David Johansen's character is named Thanatos, yeah, and I think he slaps the little boy, and they're torturing, and they're torturing his dad. His dad is this skinny, gray-haired dude that's obviously looking casted because he looks frail and weak. And there's a scene where they're just lowering him in water and torturing him. What? Who is this movie supposed to appeal to? I don't know what's going on here. What are they thinking?
I strapped myself in, and I was like, the first time.
I can't believe you watched this twice.
I know. I can't believe it either. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch a fucking bad movie. I'm like, I've seen bad movies before. I just watched Rocky Horror a few months ago. And I'm like, okay, so I can do it. And I was a little embarrassed to be watching this movie. I have to say, it's not like I was. Would I be more embarrassed to be caught watching this or pornography? That's what I asked myself. I'm like, let's say somebody I knew walked into the room and I was watching porn, would I be more embarrassed that I was watching porn or that I was watching this movie? And I don't know. That's a tough call.
Funny thing. So reading some of the notes here, and I did actually research some of this stuff as well. So although Imran wrote this, I am aware of this stuff. Originally, speaking of porn, this movie was going to be titled Rough Stuff.
What?
Yeah. So just imagine young Sam with his parents, and his parents go up to the box office like, hey, we're going to go watch, let me get 3 for Rough Stuff. Or if they look it up in they tried to look it up in a paper and they actually show up at some adult movie theater. Yeah. Rough Stuff. A good thing they changed that.
I think I have, I have the porn versions of those.
At one point, Sherman Hensley decides to shoot the rope tied around his wrists with his feet with a machine gun pointed straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened. Also,
I mean, after I've watched Hulk Hogan get shocked in the shower so much that his hair turns into Hayachi from fucking Tekken, I don't know what else to do after that.
There's so many ridiculous things right in the beginning of the movie. I don't know if you knew this. This is on YouTube. As Hulk Hogan is on his bike, there's a person that just randomly throws a dog into water. Did you know about that?
I mean, No.
There's just some random person. Apparently, someone was accidentally filmed throwing a pet into water, and they just kept it in the fucking movie.
I mean, can the dog swim?
It literally, he's riding by, dude throws the dog in the water, and the scene cuts to someone else.
Oh.
So that happened in this movie as well. I mean, barring all these weird things, as I'm watching this movie, I was debating in my mind, is this the worst movie we've ever reviewed?
I mean, it's a bad movie. Yes.
I mean, let's list some of the movies that are that
Howard the Duck, right?
Howard the Duck. Is Rocky? Would you throw Rocky Horror in this?
Yeah.
Okay, Rocky Horror.
I mean, it's a classic, but yeah, it's
really
a
bad.
terrible movie. Yeah.
The other two movies that I was really comparing this to were Power Rangers and Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, Jesus.
Where does it fit? Where does it fit amongst...
This had no shot at ever being a real movie, though.
Yeah. I almost feel like this might be the worst. It's tough.
Power Rangers cost money, right?
Yeah.
And so did Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
There was money invested in both of those. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a complete dog shit train wreck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are some fucking terrible ass.
Like Mr. Nanny, I don't think no one even talks about like this movie even being a cult classic or anything. Like, no, this is just a universally accepted as an awful movie.
Yeah, but it's not awful. Like, there's certain movies that are so bad that you have to watch them, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
They're like, I mean, they're so bad that there's some charm to it. At least there's some kind of, when you have tons of money and then you fuck up, that's embarrassing.
Right.
All right. So a Mortal Kombat Annihilation and Power Rangers, that's an embarrassment of a movie.
Sure. There was a lot invested in those movies.
Mr. Nanny cost $10 million.
$10 million. That might have been a decent amount for that time.
I don't think Rocky Horror even cost like $500,000. So I feel like that gets the edge because there's no way in hell that movie should even exist, but it does, and people like it for whatever reason. So and people talk about it still. So yeah, I'm gonna say that this is up there with some of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Now, we've been bagging this movie. Before we get into rating it, giving it an official number, is there anything nice you can say about this movie?
No.
Okay. Well, I had three things. One was a nostalgia kick, just seeing Hulk Hogan. That doesn't make this a good movie. It's only because I grew up watching Hulk Hogan wrestle. So there's that. Sherman Hensley's still kind of funny a little bit. Not like is not his best.
He's on autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah. The third decent thing, I wouldn't say it's decent. More so, it's just so weird is the fact that this David Johansen guy, every minute he's on screen, he is hamming it up to the nth degree. I mean, some of the lines that come out of this guy's mouth, you can tell that if there's anyone having a good time on that set, it's probably just him.
Yeah.
Doesn't make the performance any good. Doesn't make sense of the fact that you have this evil guy with a metal head that at the end of the movie, he's the boss battle is him just acting like a fucking rhino or goat. I don't know what the hell that was.
He rams his... He's Hammerhead with Spider-Man.
So there's that. Yeah, I don't really have much good to say about this. There really isn't much to analyze other than what we've talked about.
I'm glad we got this one off the list.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry I had to watch it twice.
That's tough. Is there a number you want to give this?
Can I give it a negative number? No.
Shit.
Look, okay, I'll be honest. Okay, it's okay. 5 means it's a movie, right?
According to you, 5 means it's a movie. Okay.
If it means it's a movie. I mean,
right.
It's a movie, and I might not like it, but it's a movie. This is not even a movie, so I'm going to say it's a 4.
4, okay. So I had a tough one. I think I've given Power Rangers and Mortal Kombat like 2s or 3s. I don't remember it. I have to look back. This movie, I was really debating on what I was going to give it, and I've settled on a score. I'm going to give it a 1.5.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
There is, other than competently editing some scenes and having Sherman Hensley in it, this movie is not There's nothing redeeming about this movie. There's nothing good.
So it's not a movie for you either.
It is not a movie. This is just
an attempt at making a movie that failed miserably.
We've got $10 million. We've got Hulk Hogan. Home Alone came out. Let's do something. And this is what you get. So, Imran, you are over there. I know you're sitting there silently. I know you're pressing buttons.
Yes.
Do you want to give this movie a number?
This is the worst movie out of all the movies we've ever watched. I would give it a 1. Oh, shit.
Wow.
1 out of 10.
Now, that's saying something for Imran.
Can I change my score now? I feel like I gave it too much of a high score.
If you want.
Yeah, I'll walk it down to a 2.
2, okay, there we go. Imran, though, with the 1, that is the lowest score he's ever given a movie, I think. So, if Imran thinks it's bad, it's complete dog shit. So, thank you, Ralph Bravo. We thank you for your patronage, and we thank you for the continued support. I don't know if we necessarily thank you for this movie review, but I hope you enjoy it, because Rug Boy had to watch this thing twice, and that's kind of funny.
Oh, shit.
Now, we got to move on. Imran, don't you have to hit a button?
It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
Get your hand off my penis!
Whoa. In the toilet.
Wow. Apparently The Witcher is a big deal, Ruggs. This is
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
Yes. I haven't seen an episode. Did you watch the whole thing?
Watch the whole thing?
You watched the whole thing? Okay, so this is, according to Business Insider, this is past The Mandalorian, currently as the biggest TV series in the world. Netflix is reporting that this is on track to be its biggest TV show premiere ever.
Right.
And The Witcher is reported to at least run through at least season 7.
What?
So they've got a lot going on here. They've got a lot of shit.
No way it makes it that long.
Well, we'll see. Now, are you at all... Well, first off, we probably talked about it, but did you like The Witcher? Let's reestablish this. Okay, you like The Witcher?
Yes, I did. I'm not over the moon about it, but right. I did find interesting things about it. So I think that it's worth watching with a caveat.
Are you at all surprised that this has become such a big thing that everyone's talking about?
Well, it's got potential to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
7 seasons good?
No. That's too much.
According to Netflix, 76 million customer households watched the premiere in the first 4 weeks of release.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean about 46% of Netflix's subscribers have watched The Witcher, which is a big number. So apparently they've caught lightning in a bottle with Henry Cavill, white hair. Do you think maybe people are just confusing this as Game of Thrones with Henry Cavill?
It's really not like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. So.
It's really like, look, for those of you that have not watched The Witcher, and look, the thing that's good about it's you got interesting characters that are on a collision course with each other. All right? You have world building, and they're kind of creating these different things. Like, so when you watch Game of Thrones, you learn about the Lannisters, you learn about, the Snows, and you learn about this, and you learn about, all the old fucking lore and the First Men and all the other shit. This has like that same kind of potential. They kind of made a huge mistake by trying to do this interwoven 3 stories happening at different times. And I don't think whoever was the director or the person behind editing it or whatever, they didn't know how to make it obvious enough, or like either they were trying to hide it, which confused the shit out of people. Like they didn't want to let you know that you were watching. They were going, oh, maybe we'll reveal it and you'll realize that you're watching 3 things out of time, that they don't go together. And then we're going to show everybody how brilliant we are but they didn't pull it off. So what happened is you get a lot of people trying to watch it and they're fucking confused and they can't get into it because you want to get into it, but like you just don't know what the fuck it's not compelling enough where it's not a driving force enough for you to stick with it. But I did stick with it because I found one or two of the characters really fascinating though. Yennefer, the Hunchback, is a great fucking character, and I really got caught up in her, and I was like, I'm watching this for her mainly. And if you don't know the story of The Witcher, here's some spoilers. You can
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Prepare to be spoiled!
There we go.
So,
Imran's awake.
Yeah. Yennefer, the Hunchback, is this hunchback girl that gets called to magic. And she obviously wants to get out of being this poor, servant girl or whatever she is. She's basically like in the feudal system. She's a piece of shit. Like, she's poor. And she wants to be beautiful. So she wants to get into magic to be beautiful and all that other stuff and the power that comes with it and all that other things. But she has to give up something like immense to do that. And the story of her, you realize, is not that is she going to become beautiful because she does, and is she going to be powerful because she is that what did she give up to be that, and how does she get it back? And so I didn't really spoil it. I spoiled that she became beautiful, but like, that's interesting to me because that right there, I just gave you a great fucking character arc. Somebody who has this disability wants to become, but in order to do that, has to give up something that they didn't even know that they wanted. And then that makes that character's driving force of like trying to reclaim that with what they lost. That's a good story.
I would agree.
So it's, that's compelling to me. The Witcher, we don't really know a lot about The Witcher. The Witcher's just this guy. I guess when he was a kid, he was subjected to all these experiments that made him stronger and durable and all this stuff. And the only thing he can think to do with this is what all the Witchers end up doing is going around from town to town slaying monsters for money. And he gets embroiled into this other thing. And it's, when you see the big picture, it's actually pretty awesome. But the watching experience is very frustrating at first. So, and also their dragons aren't as cool as the Game of Thrones dragons. Their monster stuff could be a little bit better, and it could be more epic and stuff in scale, but I think it has potential. I really do. I think it has some potential. There's some cool sword fights in it. There's some interesting magic. There's very powerful women. One of the main characters in this story is this queen, a warrior queen. And, she's like, kicks ass and fucking runs shit and fucking is very manipulative. So you have a lot of stuff that's really cool. So I think it has a future. I don't know if since they got this stupid story interweaving thing out of the way, they might not need to go back to that. Remember when we were talking about Arrow when it first came out?
Mm-hmm.
And they did that flashback thing? Yeah. And I'm thinking like, okay, they did it, but they gotta stop doing it because now we're getting into this new story. We keep going back to the past, and that's stopping it dead in its tracks. And we complained about that for years, that they were just doing it and no one was into that story, the other extra storyline.
Right.
So, they just gotta do that. Like Game of Thrones didn't do that. They told separate stories that were happening at the same time, and we were able to kind of figure out our place in them and line them up. But then again, Game of Thrones, when it first came out, people were fucking looking up shit on the internet. They were looking at fucking post things and post-show things and looking up more information. So I think if you're going to give Game of Thrones all of that attention and all that stuff and all of that, this extra research, you should do the same for The Witcher then. But I don't know if it's garnered that yet. I think Game of Thrones had a pedigree, and everybody who came on board was like, yes, you got all this other supplemental material to read. You have the books. Witcher, you have the books as well. The books have been around forever. They made video games out of the books. They're kind of melding the video games and the books together. So, I don't know. I think it's worth checking out. But, What did everybody else think about it?
Yeah, we can get into that. And your thoughts kind of echo a lot of we got a lot of feedback on this. A couple more things. Another article I'm reading, according to Parrot Analytics, The Witcher in its U.S. debut was third most in demand, alongside Stranger Things and Mandalorian. So pretty good company. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 66%, 6.06 out of 10 average critic rating. Metacritic has us at a 53 out of 100. So kind of in the middle, and our fans over here kind of differing opinions, and a lot of them are echoing some of the confusion with in the middle with how the story is being told. Paul Mast loves the show. Ronald Hans, now, granted, I have 3 episodes to finish tonight, but am I the only one confused by the story? So far, this show seems to want to just look like Game of Thrones without the story. I will update my thoughts when I finish, but so far, the story is batshit confusing, in my opinion. Matthew Lawrence, it was very confusing, but it starts to make sense. Feel like watching it again with a guide in front of me.
You might have to.
I dislike how it's medieval times but they talk like it's 2020. It takes me out of it.
Yeah, that's very uneven, I have to say. That could do better. They could do better with that.
Benjamin Wesley Cranford, did you like The Witcher? I find it incredibly forgettable. I was forgetting the episode as I watched it. Joe Henry, I enjoyed The Witcher, but found the time jumps a little confusing at first. I ended up watching it a second time, and it made a lot more sense. Irvin Dela Cruz, I liked it as well. Took me a couple episodes and a Google search to confirm they were time jumping, but once that was out of the way, I like getting to know the world, the players, the powers, and their limitations. Oh, and of course, the boobies.
Oh, that's also a plus. Yeah.
Good boobs. Okay. Bosco Gabriel, I thought it was terrible. It feels like it was trying way too hard. The story told in a jumbled time split like Westworld, but worse, and there's like zero payoff at the end of the season. And finally, Chaz Hebert. Shout out to Chaz, my Jock Talk co-host on Patreon.com.
Their bottom is very weak.
Yep, that's Chaz. Yeah, usually if Imran doesn't like something, it's dog shit.
Not true.
Yeah, okay. I think there's a lot of good in the show, but I didn't like the time split. And as far as world building, it just seems like we're missing big chunks of information.
Yeah.
So very divided opinion, just like the critics and even your analysis of the potential.
Yeah,
of the
I mean, there is a potential there. There is things that they can do a lot better. And that mention of the people talking that seems like a little bit too modern.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that they're dumbing it down for people, obviously for people in middle America.
Sure. Yeah.
They're dumbing things down and trying to appeal to the lowest common denominators and shit. So, HBO didn't do that. They're like, we don't give a fuck. You're paying for HBO. So I don't know. It's crazy. They needed a hit and they got one. So
I'm shocked that The Witcher is this popular. I did not think anything of it. So this is very much catching me off guard.
First of all, you got Superman, a movie star in a Netflix show, a bona fide movie star as the lead. Sure. Women love his bare chest, and you get to see it a lot.
Anecdotally, a lot of my girlfriends have been like posting about Henry Cavill, and I just put the connection together that, it's probably because they're watching The Witcher and he's popular again.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a lot of beautiful women in this show as well. There's no shortage of that. So, and yeah.
There you go.
Crazy. There's monsters. There's fucking sword fights.
Would I like it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Were you going to call me Imran?
I almost did, yeah.
That's kind of insulting. Oh, what the fuck?
I don't know if you'd like it, Anthony. Like, I really don't. You're not really into swords and stuff. Like, that's my bag. I like that shit.
But the thing is, I wasn't into like any of that fantasy stuff, and then I watched Game of Thrones, and I was like, oh, this is a great story. So,
yeah, I've always loved knights and shit because they're like the first superheroes, right? Like,
yeah.
So I always liked that shit. So, and dragons, and I'm always into that. That's why I love Lord of the Rings, which I still think is one of the best trilogies ever made. And you guys, we always complain about trilogies that don't have a continuous through line that makes sense. Those 3 movies are made perfect sense. They're all interwoven together and whatever. And so that's my type of shit. Other than Godzilla and sci-fi, I love all that stuff because I like being transported to another place and another time. So it's in my wheelhouse.
I like the way you say "in another time."
In another time.
For what it's worth, any listeners that want to give us $10 a month, also, if you give us $10 a month for consecutive years, you get to pick another movie in that second year that you give us $10 a month. So the more amount of time, the more movies you get to pick yearly. So I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies. So if someone wants to pick that and make me watch it, this was in the phase where I didn't think I liked any fantasy stuff, so I didn't watch any of the Lord of the Rings.
I don't think you'll like it. The first one.
Okay.
Because the first one starts off in a very, and it's done on purpose. Like it takes a long time to build the story. So it's trying to show you the Shire, where where Frodo is from and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of goes on a little too long. You're like, all right, let's get to it already. Come on, who gives a crap about these dudes? And once it gets off and running, though, and you get to that first couple of scenes where like there's some shit going down, you're like, all right, I'm in. But it takes a while to get there. Not a lot of people can make it.
Okay. Well,
there's a big hump to get over. That's all I'm saying.
Understood. If someone picks this movie, I will definitely watch it, or maybe one day I'll watch it on my own. Who knows? We did have some comments from the last episode that we didn't read because Imran's an asshole. He doesn't want to read your comments. But I've been pushing him to include the comments, and now that he's not here, or he just has to sit there silently, we're reading your comments because I care about you. Imran, even though he may sound jolly, he gives no fucks about you. So from the last episode, yeah, he's a complete asshole. Paul Mast, in response to Doctor Strange losing its director, he goes, hey, what about Jordan Peele to direct Doctor Strange 2?
I like that.
You like that? I'm assuming he's basing that off of that. What was that movie that he
did? Us, and he did Us, and he did
the horror one.
What's it called?
I forgot what the fucking movie was.
Imran, you know this one.
Get Out.
Get Out. There you go. See, Imran's good for one thing. You like Jordan Peele in this role?
Me? I think that Jordan Peele's an interesting guy. He could do.
Would Marvel hire him?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they would hire him. Yes.
Could they control him?
No.
Okay. There you go.
Because I think that I don't think he wants to be told what to do. I think he wants to do his own thing.
Sure. Yeah. Fiddlesticks Winterbottom III suggests James Wan would be a good choice.
think that's a great poll.
I think so as well.
Yeah, he knows how to work with big time studios and give them what they want. So,
and he can be creepy too.
Yeah, he's a good horror director.
Yeah, he did. I don't know if they'd be able to get him though. He's doing Aquaman, so I don't know how those contracts work. I don't know. We'll see. Joe Henry, Rugberto Bambino mentioned wanting to see a real Mandalorian in season 2. My wish is Katie Stackhouse playing Bo-Katan, who was a member of the Death Watch that Sabine gave the dark saber to. Plus, she voiced the character on both Rebels and the Clone Wars. Please make it happen, Favreau.
I don't know who Katie Stackhouse is, but
I know of a Jerry Stackhouse that played in the NBA. That's all I got.
I know Sookie Stackhouse from True Blood.
There you go. Here's one from someone we haven't heard from in a while. Hi, long time. The character of Batman is near and dear to me, so after listening to you guys voice your displeasure, I wanted to pile on. He's referring to, I believe he's referring to The Dark Knight Rises. The reason it's terrible is they don't understand the character at all. Consider this. Batman is only Batman for a few weeks, tops, and Batman Begins, right? And then at the end, you see Gordon with a Joker card talking to bats, establishing the character. Then Dark Knight starts very soon thereafter, right? So Bruce is Batman for a few months at the absolute max before Rachel dies, and then he retires. He quits for 12 years. The man who witnessed his parents murdered and swore to be an instrument of justice decided to quit after being Batman for a few months because a girl he barely knew was killed. And on top of that, when he returns, he's now injured with a limp. Batman would have doubled down after Rachel's deaths. It is who he is. It's not even mentioning the ridiculous plot devices they chose. For example, in the beginning, Bane's plan is to stage a plane wreck and they rip the wings off, right? Then they continue to carry the fuselage for miles. What moron is going to believe a fuselage flew for miles without its wings? And their plan is to trick the authorities was to do a quick blood transfusion? That's not how it works. And what about dental records? And that's just in the first 15 minutes. Cops marching into sewers all together? and then they march into a hail of bullets coming out, and Robin and the Talia twists, I could bore you further, but I won't. You're welcome, Ruggs and Ant. You guys can talk again now. Hey, he knew that it was just me and you on the show. Yeah. P.S. Making fun of my poem was mean, Ruggs. I welcome you to try and write a poem that's an endgame review. Just kidding. My skin isn't that thin. Although maybe if you hadn't read it like a first grader on NyQuil and Dramamine, it would have come across better.
Yeah, it's how we read it. Yeah, that's it.
Just giving you hell. Please don't take me seriously. I'm only trying to be like you guys. I wish you all the best. The listener formerly known as Chocolate Tane.
Well, we can't read poetry. That's not our thing. But we can make fun of stuff. That's our thing. So let's see. Let's see what you said here. The Dark Knight Rises is a pretty shitty movie, so I'll go with you on that one. That was like I wasn't pleased with that movie in any way. But I do think that there is a time jump from Begins to The Dark Knight. I feel like that.
Yeah.
There's got to be a few years. Cause
I think he consolidated that. Yeah, I think he consolidated that a little too dense. I don't think it was that close. And he mentions that Rachel is a girl he barely knew. It's established, I believe, in Begins that he's known her since she was a little girl.
Yeah.
So, but I do agree. I didn't think of this perspective, but Tane brings up a very good point. Batman would not have quit. That's just not his character. So this is a very good point. He would not have quit for 12 years after a character he loves dies. Characters he loved died when he was a kid, and that's what made him Batman. He wouldn't quit after that.
The reason Rises doesn't work is because it doesn't make sense, any of the stuff that happens.
None of it makes
sense.
No.
It's one of those things where they write it so they can get the story to that place that they want it to be, and then it's not natural, it doesn't flow, it doesn't seem like a good progression, and it's awkward, and you can tell that right away when you watch it. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I agree with you, Tane. I would also add that I feel like Nolan had plans with the Joker. Obviously, that all went away when Heath Ledger died. I also don't necessarily believe he was a big Batman comic fan, so I don't think he understood the character, as you mentioned. So a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense, and yeah, Ruggs is completely correct. So thanks for all your feedback, including you, Tane. We do like you. Thanks, guys, and feel free to write in anytime, jockandnerd.com/contact. I will continue to push to read listener feedback. It is Imran that is the one that is holding this all back. Just know that.
What?
Yeah. Got a few announcements. In about a month, me and Imran will be at the C2E2, which is the biggest Chicago comic book and entertainment convention. We actually are credited press. I don't know how this happened, but me and Imran will be there as press at the biggest Comic-Con in Chicago. Definitely excited about that. If you guys are there, shoot us a note. Maybe we'll meet up with you in a dirty parking lot. Who knows? Anything's possible. I know Dope Pope might be there as well. So check out Dope Pope. He's got some awesome artwork that you can potentially buy. One last thing. We do need more reviews on Apple Podcasts or ratings. Right now we're at 110 ratings. We need to get to 200.
90 more.
That's only 90 more. We're going to keep saying this every goddamn show. So if you don't want us to say this anymore, tell a friend to rate us on Apple Podcasts. iOS devices in the U.S. only. So if you're not from the U.S. and you're not with an Apple user, we don't care about you. Just know that. We don't care about you. We don't want your ratings or reviews. Just Apple.
You and your sticky Androids.
Yeah. Fuck all y'all. Your Androids, your Huawei's, your Huawei phones, whatever the fuck you're using. We don't care about you.
Yeah, I can't do it. I don't have an Apple.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't even support the fucking show. Jesus Christ, we get no love from even our own hosts. This is weird. Yeah. Anyways, we did it, Ruggs. We did it without Imran. He spoke a little bit. He's been producing in the background, but for the most part, this is the first time ever Imran has not been on the show.
How do you think we did, Anthony? Did we do it?
You know, seeing this, that me and you decided about 10, 15 minutes before that we were going to do the show without Imran, I think we did an okay job. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's right, Pilati. I would also add that before the show, Imran kept trying to have us cut out parts of this show because he didn't think we could pull it off. He's like, oh, just cut it off after this. Oh, just cut it off after that. You don't have to do this. You don't have to read the comments. You don't have to do this. We did the whole fucking show without him. We should be proud.
Yeah, we did it with his notes, though.
We did do it with his notes. I guess the next step would be writing our own notes.
No!
Yeah, which I don't want to do.
That's work.
And then the next step would be actually producing the show and editing it, which we don't want to do either.
We don't want to do that either.
So, Imran, as much as I bagged on you, please come back to the show. I don't want you to get so dissuaded that you don't want to do anything with the show, because that would be the fucking worst.
You guys did great. I'm on drugs.
There you go. Listeners, Rug Boy, where can the listener find you?
You can find me on Twitter. That's the only place you're going to find me unless you go to a strip club in the middle of New York City. I will be at Really Rug Boy on Twitter, where you can see me making strange comments to Devin Faraci.
For what it's worth, I looked at your tweets and replies very recently, as of last week, and you're still pushing, you're still throwing things out there just to see if people will bite at you. So I find it entertaining. A lot of them don't. Very rarely you get some troll or some idiot that does, and that's always pretty funny.
Yeah. So. I haven't, when I was throwing down with some comics people like every week, that was fun. But no, I'm not doing it that much anymore.
Not doing it as much, yeah. Well, it's still a worthy follow. You can follow him at Really Rug Boy. Thanks for tuning in to this show. I'm glad that you guys decided to tune in to this point. Imran, like I mentioned, is not here, and you still are supporting, which is very kind of you. I don't know why you do it, but you do it. And that's that. So, I don't even know where to say.
I can't wait to hear the comments on this, on the fan club.
Please give us some feedback. If this is the show that makes you quit listening to us, I want to know it. I just want to know that this is the show that made you quit. So, give us some feedback. Write us some notes. Do whatever you need to do. Send us a carrier pigeon. This is the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Anthony.
My name's Rug Boy.
He's the Bambino.
And he's the Jock?
Yeah, and we'll catch you next time.
That was amazing. A Jock and Nerd first in almost 5 years.
Will you shut up? Wait till the show's over.
Jock and Rug.
The Jock and Rugs. The Rug and Cock. Yeah! The Cock and Tugs.
Hey, listen, you didn't give us enough Mike Rips during this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Jock and Nerd.